Yep. Do you ever, well, it's pretty short now. Just a couple of months and there will be the election and then the inauguration in January. You ever think about going to Kenya as President of the United States?
You know, I do think about that. I went there a couple of years ago after I had been elected senator, and you know, it was moving for me to see people's response. You know, sometimes we forget how people overseas look at America. They place so much hope in the United States, and that's something I think we've forgotten because we always hear bad news about how, you know, people don't like Americans anymore. That's not true. They're disappointed precisely because they've got high expectations, and obviously, given that my father's from Kenya, there was a special connection. So we were, you know, just seeing these enormous crowds everywhere, and you know, I went up to the village where my grandmother lives, and folks were lining the roads for miles, and you know, we took an AIDS test because the CDC, which is doing great work. This is something that George Bush has done well, is work on AIDS issues in Africa. He has made a serious commitment to it, and I give him credit for it. But the CDC that's working over there, they asked Michelle and I to take a test because they said just the act of you as a married couple taking a test, potentially 1 million people will see it. And you could save thousands of lives just by people getting tested. So it was a great trip. I can only imagine what it would be like if I were president, but we have 55 more days of work before we get to that point.
What for like the last 10 years, even longer, for as long as I've been aware of stuff, rarely do you hear positive stories coming out of Africa, yeah, to the point where you can create the impression that the continent could be lost. Yeah. And you mentioned George Bush actually providing medical care and food and funding and so forth. Right. Is it a lost cause? Is that a false impression?
You know, it is. Look, we tend to focus on the negative. And when you go there, first of all, what you realize is that the people there are more energetic and optimistic than you would ever imagine. In fact, there's been some surveys done showing that you know, Africans are surprisingly happy and positive about the future. And there are a lot of good things going on. You go to a place like Rwanda that suffered such brutality, and now it is thriving, it is growing. President Bill Clinton has done some great work in helping to foster economic development and other efforts in those areas. Bill Gates' foundation's done great work. So it makes a difference. But what is true is that we've got to have better governance in Africa. You know, sometimes we spend so much time running down government that we forget what it means, how important it is to have a functioning government, one that can deliver services, one that, you know, if you want to get a telephone, you don't have to pay a bribe. If you want to start a business, you don't have to give a cut to somebody. All that makes an enormous difference, and hopefully we can hold governments there more accountable so that their people actually have a chance.
Is there a way for this country to do that without pushing people around and being resented?
Well, no, I think that if we send a signal, and this is true whether it's in Africa or the Middle East or anywhere in the world, if we say we want to be a partner with you, we respect you, but if you're getting our help, then we've got certain expectations that we're not just helping the wealthy or the people who are going to send the money to Swiss bank accounts. We expect to actually see results on the ground. Just holding people accountable, but doing it in a respectful way, I think that can make a big difference.
Yeah. And absolutely. And then I saw today, closer to home in the Caribbean, Haiti, things just get worse and worse and worse and worse.
They've had a long run of bad luck. Right. And you know, we need to make sure that we're providing help to them. Obviously, our prayers go out to the families who've just been devastated by the recent hurricane. They already had little. They have even less now. But one of the things that I think it's important for us to remind ourselves is, you know, New Orleans hasn't been in great shakes either. And you know, if we're not doing our job with respect to our fellow citizens here during crises, then it's a bad sign for us being able to help others. And that's part of the reason why we've got to have a government that works.
Right.
And I am campaigning now, Dave. That's why I'm running for president of the United States.
Good. But it's frustrating to me because even I know that the resources are here.
Yeah.
You know, we have the resources. Just in terms of money, we have the money. We can raise the money. The world can raise the money to solve these problems. Africa can be solved. Yeah. Haiti can be solved. New Orleans can be solved.
Yeah, well, but you know, part of it is that we've been sold a bill of goods, I think, that says just look out for yourself, and everybody's on their own. Now, I am a big believer in individual responsibility, and whether it's improving our education system or dealing with issues like welfare, I'm a big believer that you've got to take care of yourself and take care of your kids. But I also believe that part of what makes this country great is that we rise and fall together, and that our attitude is, you know, if there's some child out there that doesn't have a decent school, that affects Harry, right. And that affects
everybody's problem.
My kid,
absolutely.
And it affects everybody.
That seems to have evaporated.
We've lost that.
Yes, I think so.
Let's see if we can restore it.
We'll be right back with the senator. Now tell me about the big lunch with Bill Clinton. Is that tomorrow or the next day?
You know, I've got lunch with Bill Clinton, which I'm looking forward to. There's nobody smarter in politics, and he is going to be, you know, he's going to be campaigning for us over the next 8 weeks, which I'm thrilled by because, you know, the race that he ran in '92 it was similar to what's taking place now. You had an economy that wasn't working for people. You had a party that had been in power that didn't seem particularly concerned that it wasn't working for people. But, you know, he was new. He was young, and people were still trying to figure out whether or not the guy was up to the job. And so, you know, I think having him talk about, you know, why we need to change the economy in a fundamental way so it works for middle-class families so that they can get ahead, so that they can send their kids to college. I think he can be a great advocate on behalf of the campaign.
Would he be, if you are elected, would he be somebody that you could consider in a cabinet position, somebody in the administration? Is that not done with former presidents?
I think if you're a former president, you don't do cabinet positions. Yeah. I think your attitude is, you know, sort of been there, done that. You know, it's sort of like getting, you know, Mickey Mantle to, you know, play AAA. You don't do that. So but obviously you consult with him as often as you can because look, there are only a handful of people who've actually done the job.
Right. So what do you do now? What's ahead of you in terms of the campaign?
Well, I have to keep Michelle and the girls happy.
How are the girls? They just started school.
The girls just started school. You know, they started late at the school where they go. So Malia's started 5th grade and Sasha started 2nd. And I don't think Malia wanted me to walk her to the class. Right. Because 5th grade's kind of a big deal. She gets a combination lock now.
Oh, yeah.
So she had gone to practice the combination lock, and so her father there was generally an embarrassment. But I didn't care.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Yeah. So
now let me. Your grandmother, 87
years old. She can't travel. She's got terrible osteoporosis, so she can't fly. But you know, she has been the rock of our family, and she is sharp as a tack. I mean, she follows everything, but she has a very subdued sort of Midwestern attitude about these things. So when I got nominated, she called and said, "That's nice, Barry.
That's nice.
That's nice.
That's nice."
I thought that was a very nice speech.
Yes. At 87, are you worried that she may not vote for you and vote for somebody closer to her own age?
You know, I have been sending her out to some of her bridge partners, trying to peel off votes from that demographic.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, great pleasure to have you.
Great to see you, Dave.
Good luck on the campaign trail. Barack Obama. We'll be right back with LeBron James, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. How about that Senator Barack Obama?
Very smooth.
Remember when he was, I don't know, he was here like a couple of years ago. See, the thing about this guy, he's just smart. You can just see the intelligence just...
Yeah. Nice.
And he could easily do my job. There's not a chance in hell I could do his job. You see how that goes? How do you think that makes me feel?